They called it the end of the war, but for Spain it was only the beginning of the silence. Franco, the soldier who became a ghost long before he died. He rose from the ashes of a fractured nation, promising unity, faith, and order. But what he delivered was stillness, a kind that seeps into the walls and never leaves. 1939, the Spanish Civil War ends. 1,000,000 lives lost and Franco's flag rises over Madrid. The people cheer, not from joy but relief. Relief that the bombs have stopped. Relief that the killing maybe is over. But under Franco, death simply learned new rules. He called his regime the New Spain, a land of purity, faith, and obedience. He outlawed voices, rewrote history, and buried truth beneath concrete monuments. Every book, every film, every song had to serve the fatherland. And the fatherland was him. They said he kept a list, names whispered by neighbors, priests, even friends. Those on the list vanished quietly, sometimes at dawn, sometimes at night. No bullet in the streets, just a closed door that never opened again. Spain became a museum of silence. Children were taught to love him. Wives were taught to fear him. Men were taught to never look over their shoulder. In towns across the country, mass graves were sealed over with pavement, roads built on forgotten bones. He called them reconciled souls. But the earth beneath still remembers. Franco believed he was chosen by God, that his rule was divine punishment for a sinful nation. He prayed daily, sometimes for hours, but those who watched him said his eyes were always elsewhere, as if waiting for someone who never came. He built monuments to himself, cathedrals, statues, endless parades. But the grandest of all was the Valley of the Fallen, a massive basilica carved into stone, built by the hands of prisoners and those he condemned. Some say you can still feel the weight of those souls in the stone, that the mountain itself hums when the wind passes through the crypt, as if the dead are still working. For decades, Spain forgot how to breathe. Every radio station sang praises, every newspaper printed victory. But behind closed doors, families whispered about fathers who never returned, sons buried under false names, and the country that had learned to worship its silence. When Franco finally died in 1975, the country didn't know how to mourn. Crowds filled the streets, not cheering, not crying, just staring, as if waiting for permission to feel again. And maybe that's the true horror of Franco's rule. Not the bloodshed, not the prisons, but the generations who learned that silence was survival. Because silence once taught doesn't fade easily. It lingers, in families, in towns, in memory. And in the still nights of Spain when the bells toll softly across the hills, they say you can still hear the sound of marching boots, carrying the shadow of a man who refused to die.